The unveiling of the historical marker honoring Caesar Rodney. Some of the people seated: Irene Kersey, Jim Richardson from the class of 31. This is reading right to left. Catherine Willie, class of 1925, and Mary Cool, class of 1925.
How are you? Good to see you.
Again, Representative Buckworth and Buck Cahill.
And I guess we'll sit. Thomas, how are you? Good to see you. Good. Thank you. Thanks, Percy. How are you? Now, I want to know what years you're graduating.
Depressing because I know I have to go there.
Again, Dr. Robinson, the school the superintendent.
What year?
Class of 61.
Cliff Coleman, school board member. Connie Weldy, school board member. This is the historical monument. Reading right to left, Mr. Mervyn Kersey, class of 1940, or 36 rather. Irene Kersey, class of 1940. Mr. Jim Richardson, class of 1931. Mary Catherine Willie, class of 1925. Mary Cool, class of 1925. And from left to right, Mr. Russell McCabe from the Archives. Mr. Jerry Buckworth, Representative Jerry Buckworth. Seated Kay Sullivan, class of 1961. Mr. James Cook, Caesar Rodney School Board. Don't run that fast, Jim.
Okay. I think we're going to try to get started here. Mic's not working. Bad joke. I'd like to welcome you all here to this unveiling of the historical marker dedicated to Caesar Rodney High School. I think this is a good day. Just to give you a very brief synopsis of how this came about. The class of 1998 had thought about doing this, putting some kind of a monument out here for Caesar Rodney. And the class decided to do something else. And in the meantime, I had talked to Jerry Buckworth, quarterback club, and I said, Jerry, how much are those historic markers they have all around? And he said, well, I'm not sure, but he says, talk to Russell McCabe. And so I did. And Jerry has so graciously made this possible through the state of Delaware and his funding sources to have this monument erected. So that's how it came about. It's my pleasure to introduce some very distinguished people, and I'm gonna start with the most distinguished. And no offense to anybody who's on the school board or if the president or the governor's here, but we're going to start with these young folks up front. And I'm going to take this. I'm going to try to read down here in the order in which they graduated from Caesar Rodney High School. First on the list is Catherine Willie. Miss Willie, if you want to stand or wave your hand or something, it's great. Bless your heart. Class of 1925. Class of 1925 also, Mary Cool. Mrs. Cool was a librarian when I was here at Caesar Rodney. When I first came, she was near the end of her career, and let me tell you something, she was tough. Those kids went to that library, that was it. Next, Jim Richardson. Jim's from the class of 1931. And correct me if I'm wrong, Pat, who's Yeah, Jim Richardson's father was the first president of the Caesar Rodney School Board. No?
He was on the county school board
Or county school board.
when Caesar Rodney was set
Okay.
up.
All right. That's going back. Okay, these are no order of age. Okay? Doris Shockley from the class of 1948. There you are. I'm going to introduce two people together. Irene Kersey from the class of 40 and Mervyn Curry from the class of 36, husband and wife. And when I first came to Caesar Rodney, I was thin, and Mrs. Kersey was the food, the cafeteria lady, and look at me now. Pardon me? I know you are. They go to sporting events and everything else. Kay Sullivan from the class of 61. Pat Dyer from the class of 56. Right here. Chuck Whitehurst, who was on the school board from the class of 1970. Craig Eliason from 1976. That doesn't sound right. And Carol Miner from the class of 71. How many, did I miss any CR graduates? I didn't. Okay, I'm doing my job. All right. I'd like to quickly introduce some other people, and if you just wave your hand. Dr. Dave Robinson, Superintendent. Dr. Harold Roberts, Assistant Superintendent. Tell you what, why don't we hold our applause till last? What do you think? Kevin Fitzgerald, Principal of the high school. There's Kevin. Ed Cornish, Assistant Principal. Good time, Good thing I don't work here anymore. Avina Knight, Assistant Principal. There she is. Scott Likens. Over here? Oh, there he is. Okay. Scott Likens, Assistant Principal. Jack Walters, Assistant Principal. Okay. On the Board of Education, Connie Weldy. There she is. And Cliff Coleman. James Cook. Charles Whitehurst, who's already been out. And that's it. I think I've gotten all the I think we're very fortunate to be from such a great school and to have our school named after such a great patriot, a great Delawarean. And with that, I'd like to turn this over to Representative Gerald Buckworth.
Thank you, Buck. Pleasure to be here this afternoon. Most of you I've known, either worked with or known for many years. And graduates, it's nice to have you here. Nice to have you here. I spent most all of my career here at Caesar Rodney School District, here at the high school, at the junior high, and then later at the base. And I know a little bit about Caesar Rodney because Jim Page every year used to talk about Caesar Rodney to the new teachers. So I know a little bit about it. But during the time Caesar Rodney was growing up on a farm in East Overhundred, 250 years ago, he didn't have the luxury of getting a quality education locally. In fact, Caesar Rodney was sent to school in Philadelphia. While he was there in 1743, his father sent him a letter that read, "Be diligent at your books and make what progress you can in learning while you have an opportunity." 2.5 centuries later, this is good advice. Still good advice. Caesar Rodney is best known for his marathon ride to Philadelphia on July 1st and 2nd, 1776, to cast a tie-breaking vote for the Delaware delegation in favor of adopting the Declaration of Independence. Less recognized, but I believe far more impressive, is Caesar Rodney's career in public service. Caesar Rodney served as a military commander during both the French and Indian War and the Revolutionary War, and was a delegate to the Continental Congress, served as a Speaker of Delaware's Assembly, and was elected governor and sat as a justice on the state Supreme Court. Making this all more impressive is that he held many of the posts late in life while battling a form of cancer that eventually killed him. In all, Caesar Rodney held more public offices in Delaware than anyone else before or since. There they go. Despite his accomplishments, Caesar Rodney has been largely unrecognized. In fact, for 100 years following his death, his grave bore no headstone. In part, that is why I am honored to have been able to secure the funding for this historical marker, to give this remarkable man his due. But more than that, I believe this marker serves a deeper purpose. It provides a reminder to the young people of this state that I think is needed now more than ever. Caesar Rodney has provided us with a shining example that through dedication, selflessness, and unrelenting determination, one person can make a difference and change the world. Thank you very much. I'd like now to introduce Russ McKee.
Thanks, Jerry.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for having me. I got to tell you, folks, I'm Russ McCabe, Sussex Central class of 1974. Stole our colors. Buck has made me feel very welcome here. In fact, he and I I guess you don't call it a reenactment, it was a pre-enactment of this morning for Channel 16. If you notice us on TV tonight and you're wondering where the rest of you are, you'll know why. They've been and left. This isn't the first time I've been welcomed here at Caesar Rodney. I should tell you that about 25 or 6 years ago, I was an officer in the student council down in Georgetown, and we had an exchange with Caesar Rodney. And for we Sussex Countyans, this was the big city for us, and we were envisioning this big city school. And I knew right away that we would be welcomed here. When I walked in the front door and saw all those blue gold FFA jackets, I felt right at home. I won't take too much of your time. Representative Buckworth, as usual, we wouldn't be doing these projects if it wasn't for the members of the General Assembly and their support. Every one of the markers that we install in the state of Delaware is installed by virtue of an individual legislator's request. The beauty of the program, of course, is that the requests start with the citizenry, with folks like Buck, with groups and organizations who come to Representative Buckworth and myself and say, this is a project that's worthy, and certainly this is a project that's worthy. On two counts. One, of course, is the fact that it honors a famous Delawarean. Now, I'm sure a lot of you, even those of you who did graduate from Caesar Rodney High School, when you think of Caesar Rodney, immediately think of the ride. And certainly we don't want to forget that, but I do want to reinforce Representative Buckworth's comments. Jerry was dead on when he said that Caesar Rodney was more than just the ride. In fact, Caesar Rodney, in my mind, was probably the guiding light for the state of Delaware during our most troubled times. Bear in mind that a great number of Delawareans before, during, and even after the American Revolution were less than excited or enthusiastic about their support for this independence movement, particularly down in my county, where rumor is that 2/3 of us were Tory. That may not be the case. We just hid in the woods. And Rodney had a job on his hands, and he did it well. Not only was Caesar Rodney a man of national prominence who corresponded regularly with the likes of Jefferson and Washington, but Caesar Rodney was given the responsibility both as Brigadier General of the state's militia during the war and also as the chief executive officer. That the office was then president. It's now Delaware. The governor might want to change that back, maybe. But the president of Delaware was Caesar Rodney during the entire Revolution, or virtually the entire Revolution. And Caesar Rodney's job was a difficult one. It was to keep the home fires burning, so to speak, and it was also to keep the troops in the field supported. Bear in mind that all of our troops at that point in time were state-based troops, even those that were part of the Continental Army. In my mind, Caesar Rodney is truly, when the term founding father it was coined, I can't think of a better person. Now, Caesar Rodney had no children, but his impact on Delawareans' future and even present here today was significant. Take it from me, and I won't bore you with any more of the historical details. We're going to place probably about 25 of these markers this year. Now, there are roughly 600 state historical markers around the state. Every year, the numbers of these have increased in the last 7 or 8 years. We have averaged about 20 to 25 the last 2 or 3 years, and we will certainly continue to put these up at a variety of locations. But these are the kind of markers that I enjoy because they tell a story, not just a story about a famous person or event, but also a story about your school. One quick note that I should tell you about the school, and this gentleman probably knows this. We devoted the majority of the marker text to the life of Caesar Rodney. The idea being, and I think Buck was right on with that, the students that attend here and visitors should know who Caesar Rodney was. And I think that's a good one. But there's an element of the Caesar Rodney High School state history that you should bear in mind. In 1916, the State's General Assembly passed a piece of legislation that made it easier to consolidate the hundreds of rural schools around the state into what was then known as special school districts. And Caesar Rodney School District bears the distinction of being the very first special school district in the state of Delaware. That is in 1960. Did you know that? I figured you did. How many of the rest of you know? Well, not bad, not bad. It's certainly a pleasure to be here. I think my job is to turn things over to Mr. Robinson. And he's going to make a few remarks, but on behalf of the Delaware Public Archives, I thank you for having me, and I hope you folks like the sign. Thank you.
Thank you, Russ, and I'd like to pass along a welcome to our graduates and those of you that were in the first classes. Very distinguished, Ms. School. Good to see you again, Mrs. Woolley, who's worked with my wife for many years. I'm glad that Jerry, being an ex-history teacher, came along and gave us a history lesson, and Russ gave us that history lesson. Buck at one time was a history teacher. Buck, I'm glad you didn't give us a history lesson. So, one day, so that's good. When you have situations that take place, as in a lot of, in most things that happen, someone has to take a leadership role. And Buck came to me last year, about the middle of the year, and he was the sponsor of the senior class, and really wanted them to get involved with the historical marker and developing a little patio out here. And sometimes kids don't always take the cues from the adults, and it sort of fell through on Buck. But when Buck gets an idea, he's pretty tenacious, and he was tenacious about this, and he wanted a historical marker, and I concluded it was an excellent idea based on many years of being here. And a lot of times people would come up and ask, who's Caesar Rodney? And especially people that would visit, but I would venture to say that many of our students really don't have a strong idea who Caesar Rodney was and what he did and the contributions that he made to this country back in their early years. And I was enamored with the idea and overjoyed with it, and I was really glad that Buck didn't give up on that and stead the course and continued to pursue that. What brings us here today, that we have this unveiling, and I really do thank Buck for his efforts, and I know that this marker will over the years inform many thousands of people perhaps about our culture, of who Caesar Rodney was, and what we take a great deal of pride in, the legacy that we serve on his behalf. So Buck, thank you, and it's certainly my pleasure to welcome all of you here. Mr. Fitzgerald?
On behalf of the students, the faculty, and staff of Caesar Rodney High School, I'd like to thank our good friend, Representative Jerry Buckworth, Mr. McCabe, and especially Buck Gahall. Buck retired last year, but he has never gotten Caesar Rodney out of his heart. He's here at events, and for a guy from Harrington, I tell you, I can't think of anyone that bleeds more blue and gold. I have said on numerous occasions that I believe the strength of Caesar Rodney High School, the strength of Caesar Rodney School District, is our sense of community. And there is no greater sense of community than what's sitting before me today. The link that we have with our graduates from our past is especially significant today, because on Saturday we get to celebrate our graduation for the class of 1999. And as you are here for the dedication of this plaque and honoring Caesar Rodney today, our graduates Saturday morning, as they come to the auditorium to be prepared to go out on the field and receive their diplomas, will also see this plaque and will also have their pictures taken. So from this point on, this will be a link with every graduating class from Caesar Rodney High School. Also, we take such great pride in our namesake, and we at Caesar Rodney High School hope to continue honoring his name through our students' achievements into the next millennium. Thank you.
I think all of us who spoke up here, I think we're going to take this cover off now. Everybody see it. Where's Russ? Just grab a piece. I'm not quite sure. I'm not very good at doing this kind of stuff.
Okay. You hold that. Okay. And I'll go backwards. Okay. Ready? Okay.
Ready? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Could I get a shot of? It would be very nice.
Yeah, we'd like to get some pictures.
Even if having those up here for them, it would be great to have their pictures. Yeah, the mark.
Would you all want to put your chairs?
Buck side of the. Get in there. I want a shot. We're gonna get this around.
Where's Buck?
That's cool.
On the left, Mary Cool, and on the right, Catherine Willie, class of 1925.
Okay, I see you again.